我们总是怀着攀登知识高峰的渴望，日复一日，透过书籍、旅途跟人际交往，我们不断仰望高山，感叹自我的渺小。如果这个世界上存在一种知识，它告诉你，你已经是完整的，在自我探索的旅途中，让自己成为点亮现在的明灯，拥抱未知的艺术，轻松地享受当下，然后深呼吸，走出一步。这位是 Abby， 这次的访谈者，也是未知的艺术的作者。他是一名视觉创意、用户体验设计师、UX 大会创立者。他在演讲中谈到
as taking a walk in the woods. So basically what he's saying that when we are walking into a wood, we're walking into the forest, we have so much information happening around us. We hear the birds, we see the flowers, we see the trees. We get a lot of information, but it's very refreshing.
现在他有自己的频道，专注分享灵性探索和知识。
Talk about what is sound healing, and how does it work? And there's so many things, so many questions I have for her. And I'm really looking forward to meet her.
他说他想帮助人们通过理解灵性来简化生活。
I decided to create a channel to do something that is not really natural to me, to stand in front of the camera and talk, to help others understand and simplify spirituality.
大家好，这是 Abby， 她是 The Art of Not Knowing 的作者。今天非常开心，很荣幸的邀请到 Abby 来跟我们进行 spiritual 精神的一些探讨。Hi Abby, can you say hello to the camera friends?
Hi, my name is Avi, and I'm the author of The Art of Not Knowing, a practical guide to spiritual awakening. I'm very grateful to be here with you.
First question
第一个问题是，在你看来，什么是灵性觉醒？
Spiritual awakening is a lot of things, but it's mostly coming to understand who we truly are. And once we understand truly are, we awake to a new horizon of how to live a life. Sometimes I have this example when we are scrolling our phone. Sometimes we go on TikTok or on YouTube, and we scroll our phone for hours. And then at some moment in time, you look at your phone and you say, I've been doing this for an hour. And then you awake to this moment and say, okay, it's enough. That's the moment of spiritual awakening. It's when you realize that all your life you've been scrolling, you've been living on automatic pilot, and all of a sudden you wake up to this, oh, I'm here and I need to do something in my life. So spiritual awakening is much like that. It's a simplified way to explain it is when, again, you're all day running your life, all your life, you're just running, doing automatic things, what society dictated to you, what religion dictated to you, what others dictated to you. And it's not a very authentic place to live when you're not awake to who you truly are. And when you're awake to who you truly are, then you can actually do what you want to do or what your life purpose calls you to do, rather than what society wants you to do. So when you awake to that, life becomes a little bit more wonderful and much more manageable.
You said, on my way to my spiritual
在你的书中写道，在我的灵性觉醒路上，我开始意识到有一种知识，一种古老的智慧，告诉我如何过更有意义的生活。带着这种感觉，我开始了一项使命，尽可能多地了解我们存在的本质，以及如何与生活进行谈判。可以具体谈谈这种感受吗？
Your first realize you're feeling a spiritual awakening, the time, the moment.
It was a really wonderful feeling because I felt like all my life I was carrying weights on my back. It was like 100 kilos on my back, and I was walking with that feeling that I couldn't understand why life is unfolding the way they do, why there's so much chaos, why there is drama, why there is so much emotions, and you don't understand why things are happening certain ways, why people treat you in this way, why, many whys. I came to this awakening. All of a sudden, I felt like, first of all, I did not need any more answers, because it's the art of not knowing. You don't really need to know a lot to live a life. Sometimes things are beyond your understanding, and if you surrender to that place where there's no need to know, you can actually just be the observing presence. You can observe what's happening and say, this is what's happening. I can accept it. I don't have any mental resistance to it. And then I can find solutions to what is happening in front of me in much more ease.
So I want to know about the
我想知道你书的标题《未知的艺术》是什么意思，以及未知和我们日常生活的关系是什么？
Yes.
It's more about enjoying the mystery. Because the mystery of life is already happening. This moment is unfolding in a mysterious way. We don't know what will be tomorrow. We don't know what will be a minute from now. We don't even know what our next thought will be. There's no knowing in it. But we can certainly enjoy the benefit of just recognizing that this is our life at this moment, and there's no need to know more. So the present moment has no knowing in it. You can never explain this moment to the mind. You can try, but it's never going to be accurate. This moment is mysterious.
To know
我们经
about
常听到“活在当下”这句话，你是如何理解活在当下的？
And how to live in the present moment, because it sounds so simple. You know, what does it mean to live in the present moment? You're here, and everyone says, yes, I'm in the present, but it's often not exactly the case because there's a lot of thoughts. And every thought, every time you think, you are in time. All thoughts are in time. There's no thoughts that are about the here and now, because the here and now is really with no thoughts. So if you have any thoughts, you're not present. But if you are in the experience of this moment, you are completely present with life. And this is where your life is actually unfolding. It's not in the mind. And when we live a life where all our might is concentrated on what we think, we can live a very bad life, a lot of commotion, because these are just random thoughts that come up sometimes. Being mindful of the thoughts is really interesting way to live a life, because when you see the thoughts come up and you say, well, that's not true, you don't pay so much attention to it. And you don't allow it to drag you into moments in time. Because, when you're thinking about your past, often there could be regrets. But you cannot change that. You cannot change what happened. So the regrets are actually lessons. If you take that regret and say, you know what, and now I've learned a lesson, there are no regrets, only lessons. So when you feel that life is just about lessons, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn, then you can negotiate life a little bit more easily. And if you're always in the future, there's worries, lots of worries, lots of fears. All of fear is in the future. And it's very hard to negotiate life because the life is here, but the future is not here. And then you are focusing on how it will be, what could be and how it should be. And you forget that your life is now. And you make the future moment, or you make yourself a problem in the future moment, where there's actually no problems in the present moment, only challenges. If you narrow down to this present moment, it's just a challenge. It's just something you need to do, something you need to take care of. It's not a problem. It's only a problem when you don't know how to take care of it and you need to worry about it. And it's always about some future moment. So the here and now is really relaxing to the here and now. Looking around, letting go of those thoughts, and being here, enjoying every moment. There's a lot of joy in that. When you just let go of the thoughts, there's so much joy that comes and so much peace that comes in this present moment.
在你的书中，你谈到我们为什么会遭受痛苦，在灵性觉醒的路上，你是如何理解这种状况的？
And once you recognize that actually you don't need to suffer, when you learn that you are okay, when you know who you are okay, you don't need anything more to complete you, then whatever is outside of you is also okay. And you can accept it. Everything perfect as it is. When you attach yourself to how things should be, then you are creating in your mind imperfections. And that causes you to suffer.
Yeah, you say perfect and
imperfect. Yes. Sometimes we always thinking we are losing something and missing something. We need to have a goal to chase. Right. So, what do you think about? Well, most people think about lacking and missing the situation.
It's a thought. These thoughts, again, are projections. They're not here and now. And when you believe everything your mind is telling you, often you will suffer. We do need the mind. The mind is a very useful tool for us as humans to calculate, to plan things, to think about how to achieve the task. It's what makes us human. But when we're not using the mind, it goes on autopilot and it starts using us, abusing us sometimes, most often abusing us and often lying to us because it's trying to protect you as a human. It's trying to protect you as the organism, and it's doing its job as best as it can by often lying to you, creating fears, creating projections, and creating ideals because it wants to be safe.
Yeah.
It's always projecting to this idea that he needs to be safe
Mm.
rather than, and because of that, it could not care how you feel. It doesn't care how you feel. Once you understand that, it creates emotions. And once you understand that these emotions are only designed to keep you alive and safe, it's not to advance your life story, then you can relax, not be attached to the emotions, and come to the here and now where there are only feelings. And when you follow those feelings, you're actually following what you need to do in life. And following the feeling is so easy. It's really just, I want that. I need to do that. And it feels good to do that. It doesn't feel good to do that. So simple. And for me, if I have a battle between what the mind wants, what the heart wants, I no longer let the mind win. I just say, no, this is what my heart wants, and I'm going to stick to that because you can never regret following your heart. No one says, I followed my heart and now I deeply regret it. They may say, I've learned a lesson. I had to do that. I felt deeply to do that, and I really learned an important lesson in my life. But they never say, I followed my heart and I regret it. No one says that. Most people say, I regret things that they followed with their mind because they say, I should have known better. So what does this mean? I should have known better. The heart, knew already that you should not have done it, but you followed the mind. So you say, well, I knew better. I don't know why I did that. It's because you actually just listened to what your mind was telling you, and the heart already knew. This is the secret about life, that the heart already knows where to go.
Yeah.
And you don't need to negotiate with the mind if you need to do it or not. Just do it. And you will see that life will turn into magic. You will actually feel joy in every moment and recognize that you are here, even if you don't understand why. It's the mind that wants to understand. The mind wants to know why to do that. Why should I do that? Often you have this pros and cons list. Or like you want to go on a vacation and then you have a list of why you should not do it and why you should. And sometimes the list of not is longer than the list of yes. But still you want to do it. Still there's a list of no, but still you want to follow it. That's the heart. When you try to calculate things, you're doing it with the mind. But there's a deep insight that comes with like, oh, I really want to do that. I don't need to follow that list. That makes sense and logic, and perhaps this list is what my parents want me to do and what my neighbors want me to do, what I should be doing. But deeply, I don't want to do that. Often you find people going to school and studying things that they don't want to study because their parents or other people or the society dictated to them. They follow their mind. You see that they're not very happy. They're just like following, okay, they accept that this is life, and they normalize that suffering to a place where they accept life is suffering. When they don't, and actually they just need to recognize that this is not what they were meant to do. This is not what the heart is telling you to do. So why do it? Better to just say, regardless of what age you are, even if you finished school and like you now feel like suffering, a little bit of suffering in what you do, you're not happy? There's no waste of time if you say, today I came into an awareness and today I can take a step forward. today I can move forward in my life and leave all that behind, because life is not about what happened or what I've learned. It's about what needs to be and what is, more correctly, at this present moment. And I want to take a stand on the quality of my life. I want to enjoy life. And what does it mean to take a stand? It really means to hold strongly to this idea that I want to follow my heart, even if it doesn't make sense. And then you enjoy life.
关于自我探索，你在书中写道，第一个维度是心理上的自我，通过我们的生活故事知道我们是谁。第二个维度可以定义为发生在你身上每件事背后的永恒意识。当你活在当下，你就会认识到第一个维度并不是那么有意义。那么我们该如何去理解这段话？
The most interesting question for spiritual seekers is, who am I? Who am I? And when you dive deeply into this question, it sounds like such a simple question. Who am I? And you feel like you can find an answer right away. But when you start exploring this question, you see that there's actually not any really good answer, because you say, who am I? Am I the name? If I change my name, is it still me? Am I the body? If my body changes and it develops, is it still me? When you see your thoughts, who is thinking? Someone is thinking. Are you the thoughts? If I touch my body, who is feeling? Does the body is feeling it? Or there's some awareness that is beyond that feeling? That awareness points to the spiritual self. It is closer to who you are than the story of your life. But when you attach yourself to your story, you become your story. And you can never move on from that story. The stories are just moments in time. And they are not here and now. At this moment, whatever happened to me in life is not representing this present moment. So why should I be attached to that moment? Why should I live a life according to that moment? A lot of people attach status to who they are, their identity. They identify by this political movement, by this sports team, by their status at work. But it's just pointed to the shell of the ego. It's not really who you are. If you say, I am this red Ferrari, I am this red car, this is who I am, it makes me feel more important than people can see, it is your ego. It's not who you are. If you lose that Ferrari, is it still you? How would you feel if you lose that Ferrari? You're not going to feel that great, which means it's not really you. It's not, if you attach yourself to anything outside of you, then you're going to suffer at some point.
And finally, I also want to
最后一个问
talk
题
about
是
love and the
你是如何
relationship.
看待亲密关系的？你认为健康的亲密关系的关键又是什么？
Say about that.
I believe that the number one cause for why relationships fail is because of expectations. It's expectations that we put on our partners without even noticing that we do that. How to explain it? So what is an expectation? An expectation is really depositing your happiness on someone else's behavior. When that behavior is met to how you think it should be, all of a sudden you feel happy. You feel this is how it should have been, and I'm grateful for that. But when things do not align to what your mind is telling you, you are not happy. And when you start a relationship, or if you are in a relationship, if you put expectations on your partner to behave in a certain way so you will be happy, eventually you're going to change who he is. Because people are not going to resist love. If they want to be in a good relationship with you, they will not resist this idea that they need to do certain things in order for you to be happy. Whatever that is, if it's about opening the door for a woman, or if a man is expecting a woman to cook for them, or whatever that expectation is, I'm just sharing very basic expectations. There are many, 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 many layers of expectations that we put on our partners. So to say that he will complete me because I feel not complete in this partnership, we complete each other, that's the wrong way. No one can complete you because you're already complete. And if you want someone to complete you, you are putting a very heavy load on him to behave in a certain way that would make you feel complete. And after some time, that person is not going to feel himself anymore. He's going to be another version of himself. You can actually look in your own life and see how it was unfolding for you, how you became another version of yourself in that relationship. and you were not happy. You don't know why you're not happy because it's no longer you.
Yeah.
And you behave in this way to appease the relationship, to create that relationship, a steady relationship, not to change anything. And then after some time, it becomes a very, very heavy to live with those expectations, because you put the expectations, and it's very unconscious. You put your expectations on someone else, they put it on you, and you live an unauthentic life. Rather than just saying, you know what, I love you for who you are. And if you love someone for who they are with all their faults,
Yes.
then you can really just enjoy who they are
Yes.
and respect who they are, feel who they are. And in that essence, you are seeing the person with all their might, and you feel love for who they are. And of course, you can give that love as well to the other person for who they are. And it feels like home. When it's no expectations,
Yeah.
it feels like home because you can be yourself. And that's a safe place to be.
Yeah. So how do you think about meditation and how you practice the meditation?
Meditation, often people say that like spirituality is related to meditation. Like you have to meditate in order to be spiritual. And I say it's true, but not a complete truth. You don't need to go deeply into meditating every day for half an hour or 10 minutes. Sometimes picking up a flower and smelling it and letting go of the mind for a second is meditation. Taking 2 conscious breaths every time you wake up in the morning. 2 conscious breaths when you brush your teeth, when you're opening the car door. 2 conscious breaths allows you to connect to the present moment, because you just allow the thoughts to stop for 2 seconds. This is meditation. When you allow your thoughts to stop for a moment, you're meditating and you connect to the present moment. Because often we find the mess and the overthinking and what we need to do and how the day should be, and you lose ourselves in those thoughts. And it's better to just find a flower, smell this for a moment, such a beautiful thing, and then recognize that life is good, and then go and do your thing. You can actually do your things in much more clarity than not doing that. So meditation is not something that you have to have as a daily practice. As they say, the spirituals always meditate. Sometimes it's very hard to do that for people who are beginners. But once you start realizing that meditation creates tranquility in your life, you actually want to do that. You want to take the time to relax and to find the time to release those thoughts. And then sometimes people meditate to get answers, because you can never have clear answers when you're overthinking it. Sometimes you need to let your thoughts subside. You need to, they say, when you steer the water, you can never see clearly through the water. But when the water is still, you can see through them. And that's a really great analogy for the mind. When it's overthinking, you can never have clarity on what to do. And when you allow your mind to just stop for a moment, things become clear. So this is meditation for me.
在阿维通往精神觉醒的道路上，他承担了简化灵性的使命。首先是对自己，然后是对他在旅途中遇到的每个人。从形而上学到哲学，他探究了存在的方方面面，探索了解开一个高度复杂话题的复杂性，即生命到底是什么。这本书是一本手册，是一个超越自我的视角，让你轻松的生活，在生活的洪流中放手，跟随你的心。不知道的艺术是一个关于灵性的观点，它指出你已经完整了，除了现在，没有什么可以知道的了。
Sometimes we get confused in the wisdom of the ages, because it's so profound that we get lost and we feel like it's counterintuitive. So I wanted to write something that is practical, easy to read, and people can actually take it and use in their day-to-day. It's like more short stories, short chapters that like highlight each aspect of spirituality that I understand. And I believe could help people negotiate life a little bit better. It's like, there's no manual to life. We are born and we don't know how to behave or what to do.
Yes.
It's often very confusing. It's often chaos. And we think, how do we do that? How do we negotiate life with all the drama and all the things that are happening around us? And I believe that spirituality is pointing to that place where it creates order in the chaos. This is why I wanted to write this book, because it helped me a lot. This knowledge helped me a lot to be more connected to who I am and to really enjoy life. So when I speak to people about these things, people pay attention. And I thought, oh, I have something going. You know, I understand things a little bit differently, or I really want to know how to explain it to myself, which makes it for others also to understand, easy to understand. Because I try to really make logic of something that is illogical, because it's illogical because it starts from the mind. Your mind wants to understand this, but it's also, as we said, the mind lives in time. So if you give the mind information that is timeless, the mind could never understand it because it does not live in that realm. To understand spiritual wisdom, we have to feel it. It has to be an experiential feeling. That's why they say consciousness is about the experience. Like an apple. If I speak to you about an apple for an hour and explain to you how tasty it is and how crunchy it is, I can talk to you about it for an hour or two, but you will never know unless you bite it. And once you bite it, you already know. You don't need that explanation anymore. So spirituality in the same way is really that. You don't need explanations if I will share with you something that is already inside you. This book is never revealing anything new.